In this scenario, we're going to see how to make graphs in Excel and how to do statistics. The first thing you want to do is to enter your name. Yellow boxes are for formulas, blue boxes are for numbers or text. The first one we're going to do is the average, which is one of the central tendencies. The average can be the mean, median, or the mode. Use the median formula to find the median of the values in a table. Median is the middle value in a group. That is, half the numbers are greater than and half are less than the median. For example, the median of these data points here would be the middle one of those. So we're going to type in the box equals median, and when we do, it asks us to find the numbers, and they are in cells G15 to G20. And it tells us the median is to 3.5. The average is also called the arithmetic mean, so we can type equals average. And when we do, it asks us the data points. In this case, it'd be G25 to G29. And the average is 11. The mode we can also find. The mode is the most frequent number in the group, so we'll type equals mode, and it'll tell us the mode of the data, and it's from G34 to G39. And the most common value is 4. How about frequency? What do we do there? Frequency calculates how often a value occurs within a range of values and then returns a vertical array of numbers. For example, we use frequency to count the number of test scores that fall within a range of scores. Because frequency returns an array, it must be entered in an array formula. And that's where things get just a little bit freaky. What you need to do is to list or select all the spots where you want to list the frequency. Then it says type in that equals frequency. When you get the frequency table started, you can pull down the FX and it will ask you, what is the data? Where do you find the data for your information? Well, our data is here from H55 to H63. Where are our bins? Well, our bins are here in L55 to L58. '70, '79, '89, and 100. Oh, I shouldn't have pressed. I have to do that over again. Sorry about that. Equals frequency. Now when I press, I have to press Control, Shift, and Enter all at the same time. And if you notice, it tells me that there is one lower than 70, which is number 50, 2 lower than 79, which is 78, and where's the other one? 79 or lower, excuse me. 4 of them lower than 89. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 of them lower than 100, 95 and 97. We can also make a histogram. We're going to follow the steps just like we just completed for our making a frequency table. The first thing you're going to do is to highlight the 5 cells that you want the frequency chart to appear in. And then remember, you type equals frequency.
And the data array come from these data points, which are D67 colon H71, comma, and then the bins come from L68 to L72, close parentheses. Now remember, hold down the control key, the shift key. I better point to them on your, let's see here, point to them on your keyboard. The control key, the shift key, hold these two down at the same time, and then press enter. So it's control, shift, enter, and you know you are correct because all of them filled in exactly the way they should, 66643. Now we're going to make a chart with that, so highlight from L67 down to M72. Go to Insert, and we're going to make a chart, and it'll be a bar chart, column chart. And we're going to do that first one, and if you notice, it appeared, but there's some things we want to do with it. The first thing we want to do is we want to change the title to MS Office Heights Histogram. Now, when I made the first histogram, I didn't realize there was a way to get Excel to make the bars the same size. I'm clicking on one of the bars, and when I do, I can go to Format Data Series, and what pops up here, I can change the gap width to 0, and when I do, it actually does look like a histogram. A histogram has two things in common. One, the vertical axis is frequency. Two, the horizontal axis is numeric. And three, each of the design, it's got to be under design. Add, here we go, add chart element. Okay, so what you want to do is click on Add Chart Element, Axis Titles, and we're going to do the primary horizontal one first, and that's going to be heights in inches. And then we want to, add chart element, axis titles, vertical, rotated, and it's going to be frequency. And now, how does our chart look compared to what they had? It looks pretty close, so we can type yes. Remember that your teacher is actually going to do the grading of it. Title is right, data are the correct heights, and it's a pretty clear chart. I tell you what, I'm going to make this just a little bit higher. So that's how you do the histogram.
Make a histogram, the one that determines whether it matches or not. Next one, make a comparative bar graph of last year and the prior year sales during each quarter. Home sales last year. Okay, so last year and the prior year. Here we go. Those are our two. Insert column graph, and we want this kind right here. Now, it says put the title up, or the appendix, the legend up there. It doesn't have a title. We're going to change our select data. We're going to change our titles so that they actually say first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Now that matches. And we also want to put in a title, layout, chart title, And we would say home sales last year versus prior year. And I don't like that size. That's a little bit too big. So I'm going to make the font size down to 11. That's looking better. And I don't like it there. I want the title above the chart. That looks better. And I'm going to pull this over so that it spreads out our chart more. Now it looks pretty good. I'm going to say yes, it matches. Make a cumulative bar graph comparing sales during each quarter with each part of town. So each quarter with each part of town. North side, south side, west side with each quarter. Insert column graph, and we want this one. Okay, I'm going to put the legend down. Oh, let's see here. Layout, legend. I want the legend at the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to have to change my titles so that my titles of my bars so that they match first, second, third, and fourth. That's good so far. Now I want to put in a chart title above the chart. Home sales by office. Okay. Does your chart match? Yes, it does. Make a line graph. Well, you can't see the expenses here. Make a line graph for expenses versus receipts each month. So I'm going to get the quarters and the expenses and receipts. Insert, and we have a line graph with dots on it. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to make it so that I can see both of them at the same time. Let's see here. What do I have to do? Okay, now it says the legend. We want the legend to be in the chart. Overlay legend at the left. I don't like that. Let's put it, oops. Let's put the legend down here so it's out of the way of our chart. Now I'm going to make it so that it looks like the one there. Okay. Then we have chart title, and we want it let's see, is one of the options below? Nope. Chart title, let's put it on it and then we can move it later on. Home sales last, no, that's not what it's called. I got the wrong title there. This is expenses versus receipts. Expenses versus receipts. I guess that's a good title. So yours better not match mine because I have the wrong title there. Home sales versus prior year, this year versus prior year. Then I'm going to put it down here at the bottom and take my chart and put it up a little bit so that my title appears at the bottom rather than at the top. Now that matches pretty much, except for I got the title right this time, didn't I? Pie graph, last one. Okay, so we select our data, and nope, not total. Don't select the total, just the other data. And insert pie chart, and we want it like this one. And let's go to layout, oops, design. We don't want, yep, we want the percents. And we want the names inside. Home home sales by area. Let's see here. Does that match pretty well? I wonder if there's a way to get my font so that it shows better. If I made it white, then you could see my font better since these colors are so dark. Yes, it matches. And so looks like we've got all of the points on the graph.